how to teach your loved ones to be entrepreneurial, innovative, and self-motivated. This is principle number 11 of 12 in a series on answering the question, how to prepare your children for the future. Get ready. This is one of my favorite concepts, and I want you to get it. So my name's Doug Andrew, and I've been helping people optimize not just their financial assets, but all three dimensions of what I call authentic wealth. Their foundational assets, which includes their family, relationships, their faith, their beliefs, their heritage, and so forth, as well as their intellectual assets. That would be their education, their knowledge, experiences, reputation, and so forth. These are what we call the three dimensions of authentic wealth. Because whenever I ask anybody, what are the most important assets that you value, that you cherish, that you possess on this earth? And they know I'm not talking about money. They may have come to me to optimize their financial assets and prepare for a comfortable retirement financially, but they're blown away when I bring together in balance the three dimensions of authentic wealth like a three-legged stool. Because so many times people are wobbling just on one leg and spending all their health accumulating their wealth. And then later in life, they spend all their wealth trying to regain their health. Unfortunately, many people just focus on maybe their body, and they abuse some of the other areas in their life, and maybe they don't save money. And so they're wobbling on one leg on this three-legged stool. Sometimes people accumulate money at the expense of relationships with their kids, their grandkids, their spouse, their God, and they wonder, at the end of the day, what was all that for? Because they realize they're not going to take any of this money with them at the end of the day, and the people that they cared about apparently didn't get the message because they've all said bye-bye, and so they don't have anybody anymore. That's pretty sad. And so in this series, I'm teaching 12 principles that will empower those that you care about, your loved ones. And we have found that many colleges and universities do not teach these principles effectively, frankly, because they can't now or they're afraid to. And we have discovered that many times college graduates can't find a job, and we test them on these 12 principles and they fail. And so we teach them the principles in about 6 months, and then they have job offers lined up. So in this series, I'm going through one by one, and this particular one is principle number 11. So over here on this screen, this is a handout you can get and have downloaded when you go to the website I'll give you at the end here. But I have 6 principles on this side, 6 on the opposite side. And I've already recorded episodes that I hope you've watched before this one, number 11. You don't have to do it in order. But if you're watching this one, I would encourage you to make sure you click and watch the others on this topic, how to prepare children for the future. So this is number 11. And as I indicated at the beginning, it's how to teach your loved ones to be entrepreneurial, to be innovative, and self-motivated. Now, sometimes people say, well, I'm not an entrepreneur. Well, there are 4 entrepreneurial freedoms that we enjoy, especially in America, that most people on planet Earth have never enjoyed, and I'm going to explain these to you. It's really the difference between captivity and freedom, and when you understand this, you'll begin to realize, oh my heavens, this is so important for my loved ones to understand and appreciate. So get ready. I just want to share with you before I begin. Sherry, my wife, and I, we have 6 children and 20 grandkids. I remember when our second daughter was dating, and one time this young man comes and my daughter is finishing getting ready, and I'm talking to this young man in our living room. And I asked him what he wanted to do. And he said, oh, I'm just sort of hanging out, Kool-Aiding it. I didn't even know what that meant. And I said, well, is there a major? What do you like? And he says, well, I'm thinking about music. I go, oh, really? What instrument or instruments do you want to play? He goes, oh, no. I don't want to play an instrument. I just want to listen to music. Oh, well, that's a taker. See, in the world, there's givers and there's takers. He didn't want to contribute to music. He just wanted to consume music instead of produce music. There's a huge difference there. So when my daughter came home and said, what'd you think about, Johnny? I said, honey, next time, could you date a young man that has batteries included? She never forgot that. I don't want a son-in-law that I'm going to have to be charging up a battery every day to get him to get up and go out and create value in the world. I want somebody that has batteries included, if you know what I'm talking about. Okay, so let's go through this. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people in the world today that are in this captivity. They're trapped here, always needing, instead of experiencing and understanding freedom. And these are the 4 entrepreneurial freedoms. We go through life and we see ourselves in the moment as being here, and we can't wait until we get there, whatever there is. When we're young, we can't wait till we get to kindergarten. We finally get there, and then we can't wait till we go to a full day of school. At first grade, we get school lunch. We get there, we have about 3 of those school lunches, and we go, what was that about? Then we can't wait till we're the king of the elementary school, 6th grade, and then we get there, and if you ever notice, we sort of go through cycles, we get demoted. Now we're the peon in middle school or junior high looking for our locker being made fun of. And now we can't wait till we're in 9th grade or the king of that school, and so we'll be happy when we get there. Then what happens? We become the sophomore or the freshman in high school, and we're being made fun of again. And we can't wait till we get there. We graduate from high school and we know it all. I've been a keynote speaker many times for high school graduates that get entrepreneurial scholarships because I show them how to take a $1,000 scholarship and turn it into $1 million in 10 years by using it as seed money for an idea. I've turned many teenagers into millionaires with $2. I teach them the parable of the talents in Matthew 25 and Luke 19 in the New Testament in the Bible. When they go and they throw their cap into the air at graduation, we're there, we know it all. Well, I can guarantee you about 3 months later, they're on some college campus like this. And then I can't wait till I get there and I graduate from this college. And then they graduate, I can't wait till I get a job. And then I'll be happy. I can't wait till I get there, I get a better job. And I can turn in this clunker for a Tesla. I can't wait till I get a boat and a motorhome and a second home and a cabin and a condo. And somehow happiness is going to be theirs when they are there. Now, here's the simple truth. Happiness and life is about being grateful and happy for wherever you are at along the journey. Okay. Oftentimes I'll put a big triangle here or a pyramid, and I will use numbers like this just so that people can understand the concept that right now in the world, there's about 7.6 billion people. People have estimated there's been about 70 billion people live on the earth since, let's say, Adam and Eve. I'm just trying to use this for ratios. Do you know that most people who live on planet Earth today, or who have ever lived on planet Earth, would look at you and me and our automobiles, our homes, our indoor plumbing? I mean, the pharaohs of Egypt would have given their eye teeth for a flush toilet. But I travel a lot, and I see responsible adults go 550 miles an hour through the air on a jetliner, and they throw tantrums when the Wi-Fi goes out for 10 minutes. They're entitled to Wi-Fi wherever they go. I see kids in America that throw tantrums because they can't figure out how to open their second bag of Cheetos because their hands are just too greasy from their first bag of Cheetos. Most kids on this planet have never had a bag of Cheetos. So most people would look at you and me and our lifestyles and they would say, what do you have anything to complain about? You're already there. You're in the top 1/10 of 1%. What do you have anything to complain about? Well, I've discovered that happiness should not be contingent on some future result. Is the drama in life more important than being happy for wherever you are at? Happiness comes from within, right? We are happy because of what we are, not because of what we have. Happiness comes from producing values, not consuming values. Now, before I connect the dots here, you need to understand we're already blessed in America, and we have 4 freedoms I'm going to outline. Before doing so, let me suggest this. If this is resonating with you and you can think of somebody who ought to watch this episode, share. Click like, post a comment. Most importantly, subscribe. And when you do, because it's free, it's Three-Dimensional Wealth is the channel, but click the little bell because then you'll be notified every time I post a new video like this, which I do almost on a daily basis. I don't want you to miss out, but stay with me to the end of this episode. I want to gift you a copy of my book, Entitlement Abolition, that will empower you to learn concepts like this. I will gift it to you free. Let me connect the dots. When we teach our children and grandchildren these concepts, hey, we're already blessed. We're already there. There are 4 freedoms we have in this country that most people have never enjoyed on planet Earth. Freedom of time, to be able to spend time as we see fit. A lot of people have never had the freedom to spend their time daily doing what they want. Their waking hours are just devoted to getting rid of that pain down here in their stomach. They're hungry. Freedom of money, to be able to go out and create value in the world and be compensated, and you don't have to work 24/7 unless you choose to. But you can become self-reliant. Number 3 is freedom of purpose, to determine the purpose that you want to live every day, every Monday morning. You know, most people do not have the freedom to determine their purpose in life. And number 4, freedom of relationships, to determine who you hang out with. A lot of people, they can't make that choice. They're stuck. We can choose our relationships. Do not take these 4 freedoms lightly. These are the 4 entrepreneurial freedoms in America. And a lot of people don't understand that. That's why we're so blessed. Don't take them lightly. That's what I teach. And so when we go out in the world, if your loved ones are always talking about their things, they worship things, they think happiness comes from the accumulation of things, it's not going to happen. And then they turn to drugs and alcohol, sex, pornography, shopping, sugar, eating, addictions, because they're not getting happy here, and those things wear off. I've helped many people with the 12-step program overcome addictions, and it's because they're trying to seek for happiness through either things or they're people worshipers. They are looking at some athlete or some movie star or rock star, and they worship other people on Facebook or Twitter or whatever, and they're not happy because they're not living their life sincerely. They're living it through somebody else, their life. And then we have the thought worshipers, which are the most dangerous ones, and they attach to cliches like, well, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably isn't true. And I snicker and I go, wait a minute. There were a lot of things in my life that sounded too good to be true, and they actually ended up being true. If I would have ignored them, I would have missed out. But people in the suicide center, the crisis centers where I mentor youth, they say, well, I'm stupid, I'm dumb, I can't. Well, how come you think that? Well, because my mom and dad are always saying, how come you're so stupid? And they've been told it 1,000 times. We have to really rethink our thinking because their attitude is life just sucks. So one of my goals is to have you rethink your thinking. Understand that happiness comes from producing values, not consuming them. Unfortunately, many people choose to go deep into shallow things like social media. And when this doesn't work out, that's when they have to get their high from drugs, alcohol, or some type of addiction, and it wears off. When they could actually release endorphins in the pituitary gland of their brain, they would have them feeling sort of high on life, so to speak, naturally. The opposite is true. Sometimes they choose to go shallow into the deep, life-changing, eternal principles like the 12 in this series on how to prepare your children for the future. So in life, you can choose to marinate in degrading things, or you can choose to marinate in uplifting things. That's the whole purpose of these 12 principles, to empower you to prepare your children for a brighter future so that they don't get caught in these traps that I'm talking about. My goal for you, use some of the tools that are in the book I'm going to gift you here. One of my favorite is this one. It's called What Matters Most. And the thing I like about this particular tool is you sit down with your loved ones and you write down the purpose. What's worth sacrificing for? What's worth fighting for or dying for? What about money? What are the most important things about money? You notice these 4 freedoms? Relationships. What's the most important relationships in your life? And what do you need to do in order to enhance those relationships? What's worth keeping track of daily, monthly, annually? How do you keep track of your time? Those are the 4 freedoms. In another episode, you'll learn about this tool called Unacceptable Detours and Dead Ends. The point is this: I want to empower you and your family for the brighter future. So through all of these various tools that are available, where can you gain access? in this gift I want to give you. Go to entitlementabolitionbook.com. Click on the link below, entitlementabolitionbook.com, and you contribute a nominal amount towards the shipping and handling. I cover the rest of that, and I'll pay for the book. It retails for $20. I'll cover that. And I'll fire out a hard copy to you, but there's options there to listen and learn, watch and learn, but there's even an 18-hour master class that I've recorded with video. If you want to do a really deep dive into these life-changing principles, but I would recommend you watch the other 11 episodes that teach principles that will empower you to prepare your children for a brighter future. Here's to yours.